again and welcome for the third time, because we are officially on streaming live Facebook and YouTube to our series Uniquely Lutheran, doing Wednesday on Tuesday. I am Al Ernst, one of the members of New Life Lutheran Church, along with Pastor Jeff Gross. Just wave hello, Jeff.
Guys.
There, see, there he is right there. Hey, first of all, you're wondering why am I wearing a mask? The reason I'm wearing a mask is to show you guys that we need to continue to do all the good things that we're doing. Those of you that are listening that are in our area of Florida, please, we do have live services, but we do a social distancing. We do it with masks. We know that many of you are getting the vaccines. You're coming back and we're going live, but we will continue even beyond what we now call the pandemic to give you these weekly shows that are going to be fun, they're going to be educational, and they're going to give you an opportunity to see some of the really cool things that Pastor is working with us at the church, that we're doing as and as we're doing as some individuals. And before I move on, also, we have a tendency to forget to thank people that are really instrumental in making this work. And one of those people is the one behind the camera that you don't see, who is in her mask. And that's great. And that's Amy Webb. Amy is our administrator here at New Life. And she is tremendous at what she does, as well as learning new technologies, doing things that we need to have done in the church. And so we are going to continue to upgrade this. Jeff?
And they say not only does Amy know technology, but she has to teach guys like me how to do it, which makes her job a million times even harder than it already is, because I'm kind of slow to the take. And I also wanted to put a shout out to Dick Lowe for getting us the light. He texted me yesterday and said, when do you need it? I said, if it's possible tomorrow. Here we are.
Yep. So
we are.
Those of you,
yes.
Yeah, and don't mean to interrupt you, but just to let you know, those of you that are watching us regularly, we know lighting is an issue. Let us know. We will continue to look at the replay of it, but you need to let us know where we are, how it looks to you. We will be constantly upgrading our technical stuff as we move along the way, but our goal here is what we say at New Life, which is 1% better every day. So we are hopefully going to be, let's see, since last Wednesday, we're going to be last Tuesday, we're going to be 7% better today. How about that?
That's pretty big.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. Now, what we also want to do is open this up, is that we know that this is a Lenten series, and normally during the season of Lent in the Lutheran Church, Pastor Jeff would be having a Wednesday service or a Wednesday evening discussion group or something that would symbolize Lent. Well, obviously, through the pandemic, we didn't really want to bring a lot of people together in the interest of safety. We also have found that we have this technology. So what we've decided to do is to do this weekly up until Holy Week, in which we're going to do some special shows. But you're also asking, you're going, it's normally on Wednesdays. Why are you doing this on Tuesday? Well, we found nothing biblically, and you tell me, we found nothing theologically in the Christian church or really in any other Muslims, Jewish people. We've even checked with them. Nothing that says Wednesday.
Really special about Wednesday. And for those of you who flip the switch on Wednesday and watch us on Wednesday, just means we recorded on Tuesday.
That's right.
So you can have your Wednesday experience on Wednesday if you really need it. But right now, here we are on this Tuesday.
We're going to do it on Tuesdays, and we're going to make this a lot of fun, and we are going to have some laughs that we're going to talk about, but we're also going to answer some questions. And one of the first questions that I know comes up with me who's been a lifelong Lutheran, in that when I was a kid and you would go to the services like we did on last Ash Wednesday, you would leave knowing that there was 40 days. And I guess I'll back this up real quick for those of you that are new into this. The organized church, meaning Lutherans, Presbyterians, etc., the organized church gives you an opportunity to understand the Bible and Jesus' life by using the chronological calendar to highlight certain things along the way. Obviously, these didn't happen in this kind of time frame. Easter wasn't 40 days after the temptation of Christ, or the time that Christ went into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil, but it fits a narrative that gives you education, that knowing that Christ had this experience, and then also he had a ministry, and then he went on to face crucifixion and then the resurrection. And so the church calendar fits this all in. It isn't necessarily how in a timeline it really went.
You know what? One of the things just to add to that, Al, a lot of times what we do is we find out when Easter is and we work backwards. When it comes to working backwards, nobody does it better than a Lutheran.
Thank you.
Yeah, we look at Easter will always be the first Sunday after the first full moon of the spring equinox.
Wow.
It takes into consideration Passover as celebrated by our Jewish brothers and sisters, and it also takes into consideration spring. It'll always be at that day, so when we find out which day fits Easter, we work backwards 40 days, not including Sundays, but don't get too excited because that's not a loophole. If you commit yourself in not eating chocolate during Lent, don't say to yourself, well, Sunday really doesn't count. First of all, you're cheating yourself, and second of all, it kind of does.
I'm just laughing. Folks, before you would become really engaged with the Lutherans, apparently you'll need to take a calculus course to understand how their algebra, to understand our methodology and our algorithms. It sounds like we have more algorithms than Facebook right now.
Well, in fairness, so do our Catholics and Episcopal and Methodists. We all kind of do
okay, go ahead and throw everybody under the bus at once. Right. But the thing that happens here is you're going, we're smiling, we're laughing. We are supposed to be giving things up. Look at me. I should be giving up an entire, I should be fasting completely for Lent. And I would still probably lose 12 pounds because that's just the way it goes for me. You're going, why are they so happy? Why does that happen? Well, there's two reasons. Number one, those of you that are watching this know we have been in what has been a life-changing pandemic for the better part of a year. I would say that's an awfully long Lent. It's been a struggle, as we have learned yesterday, sadly, and I say this in all seriousness, not in any levity. Just in the United States, how many people have perished because of this virus, and we're doing everything we can to make the changes. We are making those changes, and I believe that we are coming out of that time. So there is a time that even in sadness that you can be that you should be happy, and the reason I say that comes from the gospel. Thank you, Amy and Pastor, for bringing that one to my attention, which was, I believe, Ash Wednesday's gospel. But it is part of Matthew on Jesus's Sermon on the Mount, where he talks completely about fasting, and that's just one of the things that people sacrificed and gave up back in those days. And I'll just read from Matthew 6, verse 16. It says, "And when you fast, do not put on a sad face as hypocrites do. They neglect their appearance so that everyone will see them fasting. I assure you, they have already been paid in full. When you go without food, wash your face, comb your hair, others, only your Father who is unseen will know. And your Father who sees what you do in private will reward you. And here's the deal, guys and gals out there. Even when we sacrifice, we have to continue to be happy, and we have to continue to find joy, and we continue to find our spot in life. And if you go around advertising that, look at what I'm so, that it means you're already getting attention. And it says your Father will reward you when you make the sacrifices in private, which is the other thing of the people who do things for other people and then they go around boasting about that stuff. We do good things because it's the right thing to do. That's it. Sure. That's it. And we'll get our rewards, but we don't do them for rewards. We don't do them. We do them because they are the right thing to do. So with all that being said, that's why we are going to have some fun and some celebration during this Lenten season. And of course, that is going to bring us into a bigger celebration and into Pentecost and into all kinds of great things that we have lined up with the church. But what I want to explore, and I have asked Pastor Jeff, and he so graciously agreed to be our answer man, our guy, our computer. He is our guy over here. A lot of you come to Lutheran Church because maybe you live at Sun and Fun and it's the closest church and it's easy to come over here.
Which is great.
Which is fabulous. We're happy. We want you. Some of you came to Lutheran Church because you had a friend and that friend went to the church and you showed up over here, which is wonderful. And some of us, myself being one of those kind of people, we grew up in the Lutheran Church. So therefore, we got a different perspective. We then got educated into what made our church uniquely Lutheran over other churches. Now, that's not to say that we are not the same. That doesn't say we're not Christians. We are all Christians, but there are many, what you want to say, sects. And I think that maybe even that word is a trigger word that's not a good one. But there's different types of Christianity. People debate theology all the time. But the base of what we talk about is any church that acknowledges that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, that it is through him that you are saved, and this is who forgives our sins and becomes that, would be considered a Christian church. It's just some of us approach it in different ways. Lutherans definitely approach it in a uniquely Lutheran way, and that is what I wanted to bring over here to Pastor Jeff this morning or this afternoon or whenever you're watching it, tonight in the middle of the night, whenever you're watching this. Jeff, what is it that in the realm of of us being Christians, what is it that makes us different?
Well, I think generally speaking, there are a lot of things that we share in common with lots and lots of people. And grace is one of them. I think with Lutherans, it's a matter of emphasis, in where we place our emphasis, and how does that manifest itself in the experience of coming to a Christian church that happens to be Lutheran. And we can talk about dogma, we can talk about doctrine, we can blow the dust off the oldest 500-year-old books you can find, but how are you going to experience it? If it's okay with you, I just want to share a story with you, and being you're a comedian, you can appreciate it because it has something to do with humor, and it has something to do with the ability to laugh at oneself. I went to a Lutheran seminary. Surprise, surprise. And what a lot of people don't know is a lot of our classmates who go to seminary aren't necessarily Lutheran. In fact, 1/3 of the student body and 1/3 of the faculty of my seminary are not Lutheran, but Christian. And so I talked to a Presbyterian friend of mine who went to Lutheran seminary, and he lived in the dorm and he ate in the cafeteria. He was just absolutely surrounded and inundated by Lutherans. And I said, what makes us different? And he said, Lutherans can laugh at yourselves. And I think this is how grace manifests itself, in the sense that we don't take ourselves too seriously. There are a lot of negative stereotypes about Christianity by people who are largely outside of the church. And if you were to come to me and say, you Lutherans, or you Christians, you're hypocritical or judgmental or moralistic or small-minded, a lot of people will put up their dukes and fight. You come to a Lutheran church and you say those things, we'll say, yeah, tell us something we don't already know.
Right.
We're not here because we're perfect. We know that we're not perfect. We're here because God's perfect and we need him. It's not to say that what we do or how we express it is better or worse than anybody else's. It's just to say that's kind of what makes us different. And you can actually see it. If you come to New Life Lutheran Church, I can assure you, you're going to be welcomed with wide open arms. And that's kind of the opposite of what a lot of people perceive Christians to be. But that's really consistent with my experience and my training as being a Lutheran.
Okay, so let me ask you this. In that realm, what you're saying to me is that God's love and God's grace, and that's one of our key elements in the Lutheran Church, but God's grace is more of a gift that's given to us rather than us making an active that yes. Somehow we choose, we're so strong-willed that we can choose against God's gift. And
it's not only a gift, Al, it's a catalyst. It's the motivator. It's the horse before the cart. That's why when we celebrate Lent, and I can say the word celebrate and Lent in the same sentence, we embrace the opportunity of getting close to God as a divine opportunity that we can do joyfully, not sorrowfully. It's not a means to an end. It's just an opportunity for us to grow in our faith.
Great. I mean, so mistakes are we're going to make them, correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I probably made 5 or 6 of them this morning already.
Well, yeah.
Hardly even started.
Yeah, look at our show right now. I mean, yeah, I'm sure we've made a few already, but the neat part about what we do here, folks, is this show is going to run weekly, probably 20 to 25 minutes long, as throughout our entire Lenten season, and it's going to be the celebration of Lent. And in the final thought, I want to throw it back over. The Lenten challenge this week is not to miss a meal, but it's to what do we say? We're going to laugh this week?
We're going to laugh. We're going to find humor in things, and we're going to allow ourselves to be human.
We're going to allow it. Oh, I love it.
Human.
Yeah, we are fully Christian and fully human at the same time.
100%.
All right. Well, with that, understand, yes, we are celebrating Lent. Lent, the time of change, the time of reflection. So be fully human, and when you catch yourself doing it, go ahead and laugh, because God still loves us, still forgives us, and wants us just to think about doing it a little different, or maybe a little better next time. So next week, I hope that we're going to be 7% better. What 7% that'll be, we don't know. We like to thank, you said, Dick Lowe, for the lighting. Let us know. Give us your feedback on this. Does this help you? And I keep emphasizing the fact that go back and we lose so much of what we do in this day and age to everybody kind of talking and moving around, and we don't go back to what is fundamental to us, which is Jesus's words, and that is, and a lot of your Bibles, some of you that are older have Bibles at home that have Bibles that have the red letters. Yep, and that's where Jesus spoke. I would tell you, go back and read some of the stuff that are in the red letters. And with that, we will close out another edition of Being Uniquely Lutheran. No, we are Sunday mornings. What time is our service?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. We are socially distant. I know those of you wondering, there's somebody said, where do you guys broadcast from? You look like you're in a closet. Well, we've officially, in many, we're out of the closet now. Take that as you will. We are out of the closet and we are in the sanctuary. And the reason we are there is because our fine staff person, Amy, camera operator / computer guru whiz, we have this camera set up here. Yes, she's looking at her watch, telling me I need to wrap it up. So we will see you. We are looking at my watch because I'm giving you hissing sounds. We have to learn producer, director, and talent signaling here. I just want you to know she's behind the one. Maybe 1 week we'll get her in front of the camera. No, we won't. No, we won't. She's saying. But what we will say to you is we do think you are terrific. We want you to come out and listen. Those of you that are worried about overcrowding, what we have done is we have also put seating into what would be the narthex, but it's the lobby. For those of you that don't know church terms, we put seating into the lobby where you can hear and see just as easily, and that way we can spread people out a little bit more, and we'll be looking at some other alternative ways, as well as we will see you Sunday broadcasting live on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live. And anything else, buddy?
Go in peace and serve the Lord.
Hey, thanks be to God.
All right.
See you Sunday.
Bye. Yeah, that was all right.
Great.